Hi, everyone, and welcome to another session of Urban Stages Artist Chat. Today, we are dealing with and talking to one of the amazing four women who run this entire operation over there at Urban Stages. Her name is Ilanna Saltzman, and she is the director of the entire outreach program. And when I tell you that her task is mammoth, it is. So, welcome, and thank you for doing this with us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about what your background is and how you actually came to work for Urban Stages.
Sure. So I studied theater in school. I was a director and an actor and really interested in physical theater. And when I moved to New York, I took acting jobs and just did a little bit here and a little bit there. And I started working with Urban Stages when I started to become a teaching artist. And I had just spent some time in Guatemala, and my Spanish was really good. And they were looking for a Spanish speaker to go to senior centers to help with some translation and to write some scenes with the folks there in Spanish. So I started working with Rachel, who was the director at that time, to bring some Spanish language into our workshops. And then after I did a couple senior centers with her, I directed one of the outreach shows. And um, when it was time for her to move on, she recommended me to replace her. So I had done some library programs, done some senior center programs, worked in the outreach department before I became the director.
Fantastic. Now, your passion, I don't want to call it a specialty, but your passion is programs for children in specifically, even though you do a broad base with the libraries, and we'll talk about that later. But talk to me about why you have this passion for bringing the arts and continuing the arts programs for children specifically.
I love that our programs go to libraries where families gather and where sometimes they know that there's an arts program that's happening and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they show up and they learn that today we're going to see a play or today we're going to do a music program with music from around the world, and they get exposed to something that they probably would not have been exposed to before. And we get these really beautiful reactions from families and from kids um, and from our audience members who are surprised that this talent and that this experience exists in their community and that they don't have to travel somewhere to find this. It's coming to them. And I love being able to bring really high quality, beautiful arts and theater into these communities as a surprise and as a way to expand horizons.
And we're talking not just arts and crafts. We're talking dance and puppetry and acting and script writing and singing and dancing. And what else? What other areas are you branching out into?
Right now, I think we have at least 45 workshops on our list. So we do plays for all ages. That's sort of the core of what we do. But then we have dance workshops, as you said. We do mask making and puppet making. We do different sing-alongs and world music programs. We have a magic show. We have a yo-yo show, a juggling show. We have a community singing show. We have improv and sketch writing. Um, we
And
really
do these
have.
programs go for the seniors too? When you would, a lot of these translate also over to the libraries that you work with in terms of bringing outreach to
So
senior
the
people as
senior
well.
program that we've done is a little bit different than the library programs. What we've done in the senior centers is we tend to get a grant to work in the same center for 3 months or so. So we'll create a drama club in those centers and create a play at the end of the 3 or 4 months. So they go through a more like formal series of playwriting and scene development and acting studies. And by the end, they've created their own show that they perform for each other.
You know, Alana, that is so awesome because, anyone who's had a parent who is starting to lose their memory and it engages them and brings them back, the work you're doing is so, so important. And thank God for Urban Stages for doing all this. It's incredible. So there's four kind of main areas that you do: the library, all under the outreach umbrella. So it's the summer camp, the library, the residency, and the touring program. Can you speak a little bit about each of those? And let's leave the summer program, the camp program, till the end because I want to ask you more questions about that. But speak to these different areas that you work in and how they're different.
So they've sort of combined and mutated a little bit, I think, since I put that out as those four separate areas. We have these touring shows, which is what I was talking about, which happens at the libraries, and then the residency are these longer sessions where we'll go into one place and stay there for 3 or 4 months to develop more of a relationship with the folks there and to really create something a little bit stronger. We've also in the last year started to do shorter residencies at libraries where they've invited us for 4 weeks in a row. So we'll do like a mini residency. Those are mostly for early literacy programs. So for the 0 to 4-year-olds, we've been having programs where we'll come in over the course of the month and do dance or do music or do we did improv for that age group also, actually, which is a really fun thing to watch parents and their babies getting to improvise together. But the residency really leads into summer camp, because summer camp is sort of like an artist residency where we have a group of staff who are professional artists and teaching artists and youth who are 10 to 15 years old usually come together for 5 weeks to create a play. So
How
it's
many
kind of,
kids are involved, and is it at physically at the theater? And now with social distancing, is it happening? It usually happens in July, correct? Or June, July?
yeah, so usually we have about 15 kids who participate, and then we have an intern program that's usually recently graduated high school or college kids, which is 2 or 3 more, and then some professional artists also. It is in the theater this year. It will not be in the theater. We're still, this week and last week are my figuring out what to do with camp weeks, and it's been really interesting talking to other artists and seeing what they're planning to do and how they're moving their workshops online. And so we are looking in a virtual program, and our campus, one of the great things about our campus is that it's so small. We have so many returning campers that we can get their feedback about what they're excited about and what they want for next year's program,
Hmm.
for this year's program, I'm sorry. So we've been talking to some of the parents to figure out, what do your kids really want and how can we best serve you? And so once we figure out those guidelines, we will open it up to the general public. And we don't want it to just be returners. We always want to have new folks in there also. So
And what are some of the specific classes that happen during summer camp? And is it, the same class daily, or is it every day they have a different curriculum? How does the summer camp program work right now with how it's been working?
So how it's been working is that the goal of the whole 5 weeks is to create a play. So many hours of the day are with our main director, whose job is to walk the group through a devising process so that by the end of the 5 weeks, they have written, rehearsed, designed, and performed their own show. So to that end, we also have a songwriting teacher, a dance teacher, a spoken word teacher that teach regularly to both teach new skills, but also create, help collaborate on this final piece. So the final show is almost always a musical that uses bits and pieces of all the different classes they've taken over the summer. The schedule changes a little bit day by day, but most days have dance and either spoken word or voice and a lot of time for acting. And then we also try to throw in fun classes. So we'll do last year we did a shadow puppetry class and a stage makeup class and juggling. So we have these other fun, fun theatrical games and other ideas to introduce also during camp.
It's a
And
mammoth undertaking. As I said to you privately, I looked at your calendar, and even under the circumstances that we're under, your calendar is full with rich programs. How can someone find you and find these programs? I mean, go to Urban Stages. It's urbanstages.org, correct?
yeah, so once you go to urbanstages.org, on the front page, there's something you can click on that says Outreach at Home, and that has links to a lot of the performances that we've done. All the performances, most of them have been sponsored by different libraries because those are our main contacts. So we are still getting requests from these libraries. So if you go to the Brooklyn Public Library website, it will also link to a lot of our upcoming programs. And then we post them all on our Facebook page. So our outreach, Urban Stages Outreach Facebook page is the place to go for everything.
And wonder if an artist, like myself who teaches cabaret, wonder if someone wants to reach out to you and say, hey, let me send you a proposal, if not for this year, but for next year, and I can do it virtually, I can do it in person, whatever. How can they reach you specifically to pitch you for a
I
program?
I love getting pitched new programs. You can reach me at Ilanna, Ilanna, at urbanstages.org, or if you send a message through our Facebook, I'll answer it.
Okay.
So,
And just one more question about the camp. Are there scholarships? Do you offer any scholarships? Are there any kind of special funding for inner cities kids or something?
yes, we have a rich scholarship program that we've had in the past. This year, there's going to be a completely different pricing system in place, so it's a little bit up in the air. But we want kids who want to create theater. We want them to come to us. So we will do whatever we need to do to have them participate in our programs.
You're such an impressive young woman, I swear. It's been such an honor to get to know you in my limited, capacity and working with you guys. So thank you for doing this. Before I close out, I just wanted to ask you, do you have any advice that you had gotten from a mentor at one point in your life that kind of set a bar for you or changed you in some way?
Um, I do have a director I've worked with multiple times. I'm not sure if I would say that she's told me this advice, but by watching her work, I've realized that if she imagines something can be done, she can do it. She doesn't think to herself, can I do it? What should I do? Should I weigh this? Is it possible? She just says, I think I'm going to be able to do this. And she does. And it's
It's
amazing.
funny, my catchphrase on my Sue's Views is dream it, believe it, do it. That's my catchphrase. And so I so relate to that. And that's such great advice to anybody watching you and whoever plans to work with you. So thank you so much for doing this and being part of this little Urban Stages artist chat. I wish you every success. And people, whoever's watching out there, thank you for joining us. And also, if you're interested in helping or volunteering for Urban Stages, we'd love to have you. Contact us. Have a great day, Ilanna. Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, you too.
Take
Bye.
care. Okay.